right, welcome back everyone to the Ball Hawks podcast here on Sunday, December 5th. I am your host, Steve Fisher. You can find me on Twitter, if Chris would put it on the ticker, at ssfisher87. Now I know you actually listened to it, so nice try using that excuse again. You can find me there for all of my really great food takes as of late. Been getting into those over the last week. And before I introduce my co-host, I just want to give an SEC championship shout out to the Alabama Crimson Tide. We are, like it says on the shirt, chasing greatness. Sorry to friend of the show, Jake Vogel. I know he had a bit of a rough Saturday. People were really stupid on Twitter yesterday talking about how Georgia is basically frauds, and I don't believe it. They look really good, and I do believe if Alabama wants to get to the finals or start to win another championship, they are going to have to probably go through Georgia again. So happy about that. Obviously, I'm a little unhappy about football today.
And of course, the NCAA set it up for, the SEC in their back pocket there, giving Bama the 1 seed and Georgia the 4 seed so they don't have to face off against each other in the semifinal.
The third seed,
whatever.
Yeah, or else they would actually face each other.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Either way, Georgia was getting the 2 or the 3 seed. It didn't really matter. If you think Cincinnati deserves more than the 4th seed, then you don't watch a lot of college football, or you're from Cincinnati. Either way, you're wrong. So obviously joined here by the man who was speaking, who was not my voice, for a record 41st time here on the Ball Hawks podcast. We call him and I didn't even set this one up, the Wilson from Castaway, Chris Phillips. I know how you're doing, but I'm going to ask anyways. How you doing today, dude?
I'm super. Thanks for asking. Yeah, man, I'm good. It was a good Sunday in the Phillips household. Just a good day. I mean, went grocery shopping, watched a little bit of football this morning. My kids were relatively well behaved today. Of course, we watched some football this afternoon as well. We'll touch more on that later.
And then right now,
yeah, and then we did a family movie night. So that entails eating dinner on the couch. So I made nachos tonight. We ate dinner on the couch. We watched Elf this evening. As per Olivia's request, I gave her the option of Elf or Home Alone, and she chose Elf.
There was no wrong answer there.
There wasn't. I think she would have enjoyed Home Alone better. At least she would have found it more funny, but she paid attention nonetheless. So I'm happy. You guys can find me over on Twitter as well at PhillipsChris12. Steve did catch me listening this week because he said my name. As soon as somebody says my name, I'm gonna perk up and be like, wait, what did I miss? And
you're like a trained dog that you just hit him in the side. They're like, oh, now I'm here. Okay.
Totally. The girls at work have learned this as well, that they can talk about whatever they want around me and I'm not listening. But as soon as they say my name, all of a sudden my ears will turn on. I'm like, wait a second, what am I missing? But yeah.
Reaction.
What's that?
That's the dad reaction.
Oh, yeah. Dad. I mean, I remember doing that as a kid too. Talking to my dad, dad. Gourd finally to get his reaction, right? Oh, somebody's talking to me. And then I get in trouble for using his first name. Don't forget to follow us on our podcast account as well at ballhawks_pod. You can find us over on Twitter. And I'm going to say it anyways, because I don't want you guys to forget about Steve. So don't forget to follow Steve at ssfisher87. And we have our first chat of the evening. Question from our friends at the PNW Showdown podcast. So Michaela and Kate. They are asking, how much rum do you put in your eggnog? And I am going to tell you, I eyeball it every time. So I couldn't tell you. There's no measure. My wife measures her drinks, and I actually I'm not allowed to make Nadine's drinks ever because I don't measure. I just like eyeball it. And I'm like, yeah, that looks about right. So last night she was having a couple drinks last night, and she's like, I was like, no, it's fine. Like, stay on the couch. I'll make it. She's like, no, you're not making my drink. I'm like, just tell me how much you want. I'll actually use a shot glass. So she's like 1.5. I'm like, all right, fine. Like, it's probably like 1 3/4, but that's okay. But yes, to answer the original question, I don't measure. It's probably 2 ounces if I'm guessing, but I don't
really
know.
The best way to, I mean, it's the holidays, right? You're not really in the game of, calculating exactly what you're doing there. I will just say that eggnog is, come at me. You know where to find me. There's my Twitter handle. Start loading my messages right now. Eggnog is the absolute worst thing you could ever do to yourself. It was good as a kid because it's sugary and sweet and everything nice involved. Nah. As an adult, no.
It's so funny. I was going to actually ask you about this later on in the episode, what your thoughts are on eggnog, because I truly didn't know. I'm not surprised you don't like it because you don't like anything. You're like, can I shoot it in the wild? Nope, don't like it. I don't know. The last time I drank eggnog on its own, it's been a while. Usually eggnog is if you see me with eggnog, it's going to have rum in it. Or whiskey. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of Crown Royal in there instead, just to mix it up. Actually, in our household, Santa gets eggnog.
We know where that goes.
Yeah, exactly. You know exactly where that goes. But yeah, Santa gets eggnog in the Phillips household for a very specific reason. Because he loves it. That's why. Yeah, because it's just Santa loves really sweet things, and that's why Santa drinks eggnog in the Phillips household. But I don't know. The few times that I do drink just pure or straight eggnog, not pure eggnog.
What percentage of eggnog?
100% eggnog, bro. Come at me.
You got that 90% eggnog. What's the other 10?
Okay, so that brings me. That's going to put me on a whole different tangent. When you were a kid, did your parents make you water down your eggnog? My parents would always I would have to do like half and half, like half eggnog, half milk.
I think it probably. I bet if you were to look back at the times when you had to do that, it probably would have been later on in the evening to kind of dilute the sugar amount as you're, just anytime.
Anytime. Eggnog, chocolate milk, anytime.
Interesting.
We had to water it down with extra milk. Like even as a teenager, when I was old enough to pour my own beverages, I was like, it was so like ingrained in me that I would go to pour myself a glass of eggnog and I would still like do half and half eggnog, half milk, because that's just what I knew.
It's so wild how you can literally like condition your kids to do it even when you're not around as like an older, like there's still stuff we all do as adults, even where you're like, why do I do it this way? Like, what is wrong with me for doing this? And then you're like, oh, it's because my parents did it.
Even still, as an adult, I pour myself a glass of chocolate milk or I pour myself a glass of eggnog. And like, there's still that small part of me in the back of my mind. It's like, pour milk into it.
Mom and dad looking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my mom probably
I might actually do this right now. Yeah, I'm going for it.
Yeah. As we all know, moms can see everything. So my mom probably knows every time that I don't pour milk into my eggnog.
You get a message. You're like, I'm sorry, Mom. It's actually me texting you. Like, sorry, I thought you were Mom.
Yeah, my phone's buzzing. What are you doing, Christopher?
Yeah. All right, let's get into a little football here. Enough of our wild eggnog extravaganzas. We had a really, really monumental win this week. It's not the Seahawks. Sorry, Christopher. It is the Detroit 1-win Lions football team. 1 win. That means they cannot be the worst team to ever field a football field. And we, now that the games have, or the season has extended to 17 games, there's that big joke like, are the Lions going to take their crown back? Because they were obviously the first ones to go 0-16. The Cleveland Browns then matched that at 0-16. And it looked like they were going to go to 0-17. No.
They have the tie.
Well, you're still winless. I would say if they went 0-16-1, you're still the worst football team ever.
You lost 16 games and you kissed your sister on one of them.
Yeah, that's maybe even worse than 0-17.
Yeah, the Detroit Lions. I should have reached out to our friend Andrew to ask how he felt about it, because I don't know how it affects their draft ranking or at all. I don't think it does. So they're still in position to land the first overall draft pick. But yeah, they were up for a long time, and then Minnesota scored a late touchdown to take the lead. I think there was like a minute 45 left in the game, somewhere around there anyways. And Jared Goff led the game-winning drive, which I actually watched the entire drive and the end of that game. And super impressive. He made all the throws he had to make and, checked down when he had to check down, and finished the game off with this impressive touchdown throw.
There's Hawkinson inside. Here we go. Goff from the gun to the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown.
Before we talk about the terrible defense, I love seeing how much it means to those players to pick up. I mean, that's Detroit's first win in, it's like 364 days, because their last win came on December 6th of last year. So like 1 year almost to the day since their last win. And I mean, of course, this is Dan Campbell's first victory as a head coach. Amon-Ra St. Brown, rookie wide receiver for Detroit, caught the game-winning touchdown. So, he gets to taste victory for the first time as a rookie. And it's got to feel good for Jared Goff as well. I mean, he got crapped on a lot in LA. He hasn't exactly, redeemed himself in Detroit either. Not that he has a great supporting cast around him either. But, a lot of people are like, oh, like Goff is only good because of McVay, but like, whatever. So it's cool to see. I mean, I remember when Cleveland, after they went 0-16 and they drafted Baker, and the following season, Tyrod Taylor got hurt and Baker Mayfield came in, and like everyone was cheering for Cleveland to, get off the snide and get that first win. So same thing with Detroit. Like, you can't hate them. Like,
yeah, to kind of further that, the clip there, obviously, if you're listening on a podcast somewhere, you won't have seen this, but the clip obviously shows, they pan to the fans, and the fans are just amped. Like, I mean, my team lost today, and we're going to get into, how disappointing that is. But my team also has 8 wins this season alone. Like, I can't imagine being a fan of that team being like, are we ever going to win a game again? Like, is this the only time we're ever going to? So they were super jazzed up for that. They're not kind of quitting on their team. They're rallying behind them. They won at home too, which always, is a little nicer for that first win. So definitely good to see Detroit get their first win there. You are right. They the second to last team are the Jaguars. They have 2 wins, so it didn't change their draft order or anything like that. We know Jacksonville is hoping that they pass them, because Jacksonville always cheers for their team to lose so they can get a better pick. We talked about that last year.
And it was pretty cool as well in the post-game press conference. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Dan Campbell had the game ball with him at the podium at the press conference, and awarded the game ball to the community of Oxford. which of course there was just a huge tragedy in Oxford, and yeah, it was cool to see him do that, and him say, don't forget the names of the people, and listed off all of the people that were, I guess directly affected by that, but also said that, not just them, but their brothers, their sisters, their mothers, their fathers, and everything. So, and I mean, of course, I'm not to speak for Steve, but with Ballhawks podcast, thoughts are with the community of Oxford as well. Just absolute tragedy what happened there. So
yeah, definitely. One other kind of feel good moment that we had this week. You actually sent me this one. This one was a little weird, but really kind of cool to see how much. Again, we're talking about how much this game and their careers mean to them. Gardner Minshew got the start for the Philadelphia Eagles. He won the game. Looked really impressive. At one point, I tweeted something. I can't remember what the numbers were, but between him and who were they playing again? I can't remember.
The Jets.
So they had Zach Wilson in there, and it was something like 23 for 25 completions between both quarterbacks, and 2 touchdowns each. They were tearing it up early on. So Gardner Minshew wins, and then he meets his dad, was it? Kind of outside the arena, and it's a little weird, but it turns into like this feel-good kind of moment. You have that one?
I didn't load it up. Simply, I would have, but
don't worry about looking it up. People can find it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend people looking it up. The reason I didn't load it up is because all you can hear is the fans in the background yelling I guess Gardner, Minshew, for the veterans. It was just very I don't know. It wouldn't play well on a podcast, so I didn't download it. But definitely go on Twitter, find that video of Gardner Minshew and his dad. Looks like in the back of the stadium before Minshew jumped back on the team bus, and he's just fired up. He is so excited that he got a chance to start. He won. He played a really good game. And it maybe starting a little bit of quarterback controversy in Philadelphia. Should he maintain the starting position? Should they go back to Jalen Hurts? I mean, my vote is for this guy personally. How do you not go with that mullet?
He doesn't take number 2s either.
No, he doesn't take number 2s.
Number 2s.
Won't accept it. So I say stick with Minshew Mania. I mean, ride the hot hand. Not that Hurts has been playing poorly, but maybe Philly needs more of a traditional. Maybe they need more of a traditional quarterback to help run that offense better. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Philly hasn't been great all year, so why not? It just seems like everywhere Minshew goes, there's some sort of quarterback controversy that follows him. For my fantasy football team, I'm going to say no because he only targeted Devonte Smith 4 times in the game and only completed 2 passes to him. So that didn't help me. I don't know if you watched any of this game. I'm not sure what you were up to, but there was a roller coaster of emotions going on in Cincinnati today. Do you see any of it?
I caught a good portion of the second half. Missed the first half just while I was grocery shopping, running errands, what have you. And then I got home from the grocery store and it's put away groceries and eat lunch and do those sorts of things. So, but I did see a good portion of it. What's going on with those two teams? It's super like
AFC though. They're embodying what the AFC is doing right now, where it's one week a team comes out flying, they look great, and then the other week they look like they're dead. And in this game, they decided to do it a couple times throughout the game. So LA starts the game off. They get 24 unanswered points. And obviously I am feeling good about that in the morning. So I tweeted out being like, ha ha ha. this makes me happy before my team's even played. And then, of course, someone's like, oh, I didn't want to jinx it. Of course, what would happen? The Cincinnati Bengals come back with 22 unanswered points. So then you feel like, oh my gosh, this is actually a game again. And then in the fourth quarter, the Chargers score 17 unanswered. So it was just like, okay, we're good now. Okay, now we suck. We'll let you be good. Okay, now we want to be good again. Like it was so all over the place. I don't remember the last time I watched a game where it was so high scoring. It was close at one point, but it was never a competitive game. Like at no point at all during the game, I was like, oh yeah, this team's got it in the bag. Or like, wow, I have no idea how this game is going to end. It's just like, since he kind of, made that leap back, it was like, okay, now we're punching it in again. It was like, oh, okay, never mind. They're actually not for real today.
Yeah, from what I was watching, the Bengals really struggled with turnovers. Joe Burrow had 2 interceptions. He lost a fumble. I know Mixon lost a fumble, which ended up turned into a defensive touchdown.
Yep.
Scoop and score. Burrow was sacked 6 times, which I'm sure I didn't see anything, but I'm sure there were some people, in the deep, dark corners of Twitter screaming, should have drafted Penei Sewell.
Yeah.
Which I was on that train early in the season as well, but I think Jamar Chase has proven enough that they did make the right decision there. But just 2 wildly inconsistent teams. Like you said, it embodies the AFC where it's both these teams, one week they'll come out and they'll be just absolute world burners. And then the next week they disappear and crap the bed. So are we going to see the Chargers crap the bed next week? I don't know. I don't know who they play. I didn't do my research to actually look into that because I don't care enough. Do the Bengals, do they wake up and do they play better next week? Is this kind of how the rest of their season is going to go? So very interesting. The AFC, we've been saying it for weeks now, is an absolute crapshoot. The Chiefs seem to be waking up. They laid a beating on the Broncos tonight. But again, the Broncos are, their record, I think, is better than they actually are.
Yeah.
I don't think their record
speaks. One of those teams that started off 3-0. Right?
Yeah.
We had that one episode where we're like, all right, which one of these 3-0 teams are legit? And clearly it wasn't Denver. I don't know if that's just a product of, early season capitalization or what have you. I was actually just reading something I was multitasking. It looks like Joe Burrow has a dislocated pinky finger. So that could, he says he's not going to miss any games because of it, but obviously I couldn't figure out whether it was on his throwing hand or not. I think it was. Either way, it's something that's going to affect that team moving forward. Just really quickly before we jump into your Seahawks here, because we need a little positivity on this podcast. So let's make fun of the Houston Texans. They got shut out again today.
Hey, Houston, your team sucks.
Yeah, my team can't score points, but your team actually can't score points.
I saw a thing on Twitter where a fan printed out a banner and stood up right in front of the owner's suite, telling him to sell the team.
Really?
Yeah, he got kicked out of the stadium immediately after that happened.
Wonder why.
Yeah, right. But how are the Houston Texans 3-8 right now, or 3-9, I guess now, or they're 3-10,
2-10,
okay, 2-10. I thought, I thought I saw somewhere they had 3 wins. Regardless, how do they have more than 0 wins? They've been shut out twice this season. We already discussed we've discussed both the 0-16 Detroit Lions and the 0-16 Cleveland Browns of 2008 and 2017, respectively. Neither one of those teams got shut out once, and Houston's been shut out twice now.
It's pretty darn hard to not kick a field goal at some point.
Right. Like to not put yourself in a position to kick a field goal, or maybe they did and their kicker missed it. I don't know, because I definitely didn't watch any of that game.
Like, you can't even get a kicker to kick you points.
Yeah, like it's just like embarrassingly bad, which it's no surprise. I mean, there's not a lot of talent on that team. Like they have Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
What do they have outside of
a lot for?
What's exactly right? They mortgage their future to get Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
And what else do they have outside of that? I mean, Tyrod Taylor's not. I mean, he got benched today. Brandon Cooks has been a bit of a suitcase wide receiver, so he's been all over the place, and who knows what he really is.
I mean, he's getting a little older, right? I mean, they've got Cooks, they've got Nico Collins, who they just drafted. Like they've got these lower end pieces. Like there's a reason why Nico Collins lasted until the third round. Like he's not a world beater by any means. The problem with them is Bill O'Brien, who oddly enough is the offensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide, was really bad at his job.
He was.
Like he was the whipping boy of the NFL. Like anybody knew, like if you had to trade away somebody, good old Bill O'Brien would give you whatever you wanted for him.
Well, he gave away DeAndre Hopkins for a second round draft pick?
Yeah. Like, nope, not going to happen. And like, he was trading away future assets on a team that wasn't close to winning. Like you gave big assets to get Laramie Tunsil, who's been good. He's been a really, really effective left tackle in the league, but you're not even close. What are you doing? Like, yeah. Anyways, we've spent enough time on them. They suck. They don't deserve our time.
Hey, Houston, be better.
Actually, don't, because it's funnier when you're not. If you could just get shut out like 2 or 3 more times before the regular season's done, that would be great. But Christopher, your Seattle Seahawks are no longer that close. They are no longer 1 win better than the Houston Texans. They are now 2 wins better than the Houston Texans. And I know this one feels good to you because you've said to me time after time that the 49ers are your least favorite. They're your Steelers. So you and I had double rival week this week. Tell us about the Seahawks today.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I was talking about it with another fellow Seahawks fan, and I asked him the question. I was like, Rams or Niners, who do you hate more? He's like, 49ers, easy. Mm-hmm. And like, the sense I get on Twitter is that most Seahawks fans are that way, but I do see quite a few still post that they hate the Rams more. I cannot stand the San Francisco 49ers. I don't like the Rams. The Cardinals are my meh team of the division. Like, take them or leave them. I don't have a huge hatred for them. I hate the San Francisco 49ers, and anytime we play them, I want nothing more than to win that game. We could lose all other 15 games of the year. As long as we beat the 49ers, I'm going to stick that feather in my cap and walk away smiling and rub it in the Niners. The Niners could win all their games except for those Seahawks games. I don't care. I'm always going to rub it in their face that, hey, I don't care. Tell us we suck. We still beat you twice.
Yeah.
And guess what? This season, again, back-to-back years, we beat you twice. We swept you. Bring out the brooms.
Bring out the brooms, baby.
I tweeted a couple gifs of brooms today. I tweeted a fun one, Mrs. Doubtfire, playing the air guitar on the broom.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. I also love how, like, Niners fans, like, their biggest, like, chirp. Actually, this is pretty much any NFL fan, but, like, especially, like, any NFC West division rival, excuse me. So like we see it from the Niners fans, we see it from the Rams fans. I don't ever see any Cardinals fans tweeting, so I don't know if there are any actual Cardinals fans. But it's always like, oh, like never even seen a Seahawks fan before 2012. Like before 2012, the Seahawks didn't even have any fans. Like it's the 12th man because that's when people started cheering for them in 2012. It's just like, come up with new material. It's like how I feel when people call me short when I play lacrosse. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I am short. I'm 5'9". I'm not a very tall person. You're absolutely correct. And like usually when I say that, I'm like, they're like, oh, well now what? I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like, that's how I feel about saying I've only been a fan since 2012. Like, okay, no, I haven't, but like maybe you've only been a fan since 2012, and that's why you've only noticed a Seahawks fan since then. Comment from wow, I have not heard from this person in a long time. Mr. Jeff Connaughton. What's going on, Jeff? Rams fans are more fun to chat with. Been to both stadiums. and then Jeff chimed in. So I know Jeff from lacrosse. He is I've known Jeff since probably since I was 7 or 8 years old, maybe earlier than that. Used to play lacrosse against my dad, and then was a longtime referee in the Okanagan here. And wanted to chime in that I cheat. He says that you cheat at face-offs, and to that, Jeff, I say if you aren't cheating, you aren't trying. And it's only cheating if you get caught. Which I know you knew I was cheating every single time, but you only called me on it once a game, just to remind me, like, hey, Chris, I know you're cheating. Anyways, talking about the Seahawks again here. So, yeah, it felt good to beat the Niners. I mean, the Seahawks are now 4-8. I mean, there's still a slight chance that they make the playoffs. I'm just looking here now. Like, I think they're 2 games back of a playoff spot. I don't know. I can't count. Something like that. Anyways, yeah,
bad.
2 games back of the Eagles right now. For that last wild card spot, which next week we play Houston. So hopefully that's another shutout for the Seahawks. Shut out Houston, not us get shut out, because I don't want to be after, wouldn't that just be like irony? Hey, after chirping the Houston Texans for being shut out twice, right. Seattle goes to Houston, gets shut out, and it's their second time being shut out in for the year. I
would have to bring that up just so you know.
Oh, please do. Today's game was one of the craziest games I think I've ever seen. Save for the NFC Championship game against the Packers, because that game was just absolute bonkers. But like today, we had a fake punt touchdown. We had turnovers all over the place, fumbles, interceptions. We had a safety. The Seahawks defense had a last-minute game-saving stop, and possibly the most surprising and craziest thing of all, Pete Carroll won a challenge.
Ooh.
Like,
that don't happen very often.
No, for any of as longtime Seahawks fans, that Pete is notorious for throwing the red flag when he shouldn't. He challenges the worst of the worst plays, and every time he throws the red flag, I'm like face palm. I'm like, oh, Pete, we need that timeout later in the game. Like, what are you doing? But today he threw the red flag on a Brandon Ayuk reception. The officials called it a reception on the field. It didn't look like it, because he caught it, came down, he jumped up, caught it, came down, and as he came down, Quandre Diggs popped him, and Ayuk went to the ground and the ball popped out. So Pete challenged it, and the ruling on the field was incomplete, which that play happened on 3rd down. So it led to a 4th down punt, which was huge for Seattle to get the ball back. A couple other things that happened today that I was very happy about. I've got a long list of things that I was happy about today, guys. Eskridge scored his first touchdown.
I saw that. That was
he had a couple big plays too. He had a big 3rd down conversion late in the first half when the Seahawks were driving there. Made a nice catch, slipped the tackle and got out of bounds to stop the clock. And then actually, I'm pretty sure that's when he got his touchdown was on that same drive right before halftime. So, and same thing, made the catch, slipped the tackle, and dove into the end zone. So super happy for Eskridge. I know a lot of people, myself included, have been not so much crapping on Eskridge, but more so the Seahawks front office. I mean, a number 3 wide receiver is a luxury, and it's nice to have. But at the same time, Creed Humphrey was sitting right there, and the Seahawks didn't take him to be. And I mean, he's the top graded offensive lineman in the NFL right now as a rookie. And the Seahawks' biggest weakness on the offensive line is arguably center. I would argue the entire offensive line is weak, but Dwayne Brown, I looking his age, that's for sure. He got roasted a couple times today. Russell Wilson was really good today. My dad doesn't think so, but that's okay. My dad and I disagree on a lot of things. But Russ went 30 for 37, 231 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I have no complaints about that. He did have an interception as well, but I'll touch on that in a second here. Carlos Dunlop, who has been quiet all season, and actually one of the smarter moves the Seahawks front office made this offseason was not extending him because of how quiet he has been. He finally recorded his first sack of the year. He did it. Congratulations. And that sack actually was a safety.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the game-tying safety Yeah. My wife and daughter were upstairs today doing their nails and whatever, which they have to go upstairs to paint their nails because I cannot stand the smell of nail polish. It gives me
so bad.
Gives me an instant headache.
Instant headache. Yeah.
Yes. So they were painting nails upstairs, and finally they come back downstairs, and my wife goes, "God, you're loud." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm just watching football." I'm like, "You're loud. I could hear you guys laughing upstairs. Like, you're loud." Dunlop also
on the floor where it's like, "Hey, stop laughing so much there."
Right? Like in Friends, like they're stomping on the floor, I'm banging the ceiling with a broom.
What was that guy's name again?
I don't know.
Oh, Mr. Something.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mr. Something, but I can't remember. If anyone who's watching, if you remember who the angry neighbor's name was in Friends, please throw it in the chat really quick here. Dunlap also had the final play of the game. He batted down Jimmy G's last pass on 4th and goal to end the game with 12 seconds left. So Russ and the offense could come back out, take a knee, end the game. I guess I'm going to get to it before I forget.
Mr.
Heckles. There we go.
Maybe look it up. Sorry for cutting you off.
It was very important. I don't blame you. If you were talking about the Ravens and you mentioned Friends, I would then also be Googling the neighbor's name, and I would be cutting you off.
Do a really good job of listening and being attentive for Seahawks stuff, but not when there's trivia stuff that's like eating at me. One of those I'm like, I gotta go.
If I wasn't talking about the Seahawks right now, like I said, I would have been Googling it for sure, because I'm the same way. I'm like, I need the answer. Yeah. Like I said, this is one of the most bizarre games that I saw, and the game didn't start off very, very good for Seattle. Started with a 3-and-out, which they ran 2 screen passes in their first offensive drive, and I was swearing at my TV, being like, what the are they doing running screen passes? Like, stop, enough with the screen passes. So then on 4th down, they go to punt, and this thing happened.
Long as is what's plagued this team, but here we have a fake.
It is a fake indeed, and this is Travis Homer, who got a block, takes it the other way, and this will be 6. Can you believe it? 73 yards.
Unbelievably gutsy call here. Direct snap to Travis Homer. There is no one out in front of him.
Travis Homer.
The Niners. Wow.
73 yards, untouched, to the house on a fake punt, which, like, everyone was shocked that Pete Carroll ran a fake punt to begin with. But then, like, Pete went for it a few times on fourth down today. So maybe that's, maybe that's the way of the future. And the Seahawks are going to have some balls, for the rest of the season here and go for it on fourth down and maybe run some of those fake plays. I know there was another trick play that they ran later in the game where Russ threw it to DK. DK threw it back to Russ, and Russ just missed Tyler Lockett for the touchdown. I don't know if you saw it in the clip there, Steve, but when the camera pans to the fans and one woman like turns around to the Niners fan behind her and like just starts yelling at the guy, I would love to know what she said. You'll have to go back and rewatch the clip, or maybe I'll play it again before we sign off for the night. After we're done the show, I'll play it for you again. You'll see it there. I would like to add in, please, everyone, Nick Bellore, Quandre Diggs, and Michael Dixon deserve your Pro Bowl votes. Go vote for those guys. Get them in the Pro Bowl. Nick Bellore was an absolute stud today. I mean, he made that block just now for Travis Homer on that, blocking the one and only guy that had to be blocked, so Homer could get that touchdown. He forced a fumble on a kickoff. He made a couple big tackles. He made a huge block for Adrian Peterson to get a touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks, which who would have thought you'd be saying those words in 2021? Quandre Diggs. Yeah, Quandre Diggs had a big game. He had an interception. He had, again, some big tackles. And Michael Dixon is easily the best punter in the NFL. So go vote for those guys. Get them in the Pro Bowl. Shut up, Steve. We're talking about the Seahawks. We're talking about the Seahawks right now, not the Ravens.
Well, you said the NFL. Now we're fighting.
Yeah, that's okay.
You said NFC. You can have NFC.
No, I said what I said, and I meant what I said.
Sam Cook could kick circles around your boy.
So could Sam Cook punt the ball twice if he had to?
Never has to. He does it right on the first time.
Well, you know what? The Seahawks can't block very good. As previously mentioned,
passer rating. So
the Seahawks swept the Niners again this year, and Russell Wilson improves to 17-4 versus San Francisco. Ooh. Hey, San Fran, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? That's right. Russell Wilson is the daddy of the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners didn't score any points in the second half. Lumen Field was absolutely rocking today. I love hearing the fans be that loud. I know it's pretty hard to cheer for your team when they're not playing well. I would like to say, please cheer for the team just as hard, in losing moments as you did for them today, because it gets the players hype, it gets them amped up, it gets them more involved. And from somebody watching from home, I love hearing it. The NFL looks really dumb for flexing this game out of prime time, especially replacing it with the Chiefs and Broncos. Like, I'm sorry. That was when I saw the Seahawks and Niners were getting flexed out. I was like, okay, I guess I get it. Like, Seahawks Niners usually like makes for good TV, but like, I guess I understand. But like, why not put the Bengals and the Chargers in that spot, or the Steelers and the Ravens in that spot? Like, I don't understand how they went with the Chiefs and the Broncos. It just doesn't make any sense to me. There was a few negatives today. Gerald Everett had probably the worst game of his entire career today. He had 2 fumbles, and he created an interception, which, when I say he created an interception, Russell Wilson hit him right in the hands for what would have been a touchdown. And Everett bobbled it once, bobbled it twice, went to the ground, kicked it up in the air, and the DB was like, thank you. Easy interception. And then his 2 fumbles, one of them was in Seahawks territory, which led to the Niners' first touchdown of the game, which George Kittle went off today. I think the last I saw, he had like 190 yards and two touchdowns or something stupid. The Seahawks had no answer to stopping him. But the other fumble for Everett was like on the Niners 2-yard line or 1-yard line or something brutal, and killed. So he killed 2 scoring drives for the Seahawks. The game probably shouldn't have been as close as it was because Everett had those 2 costly turnovers with the fumble and the interception, which I know gets tagged on Russ's stat line, but really it was Gerald Everett's fault. And then lastly, Jamal Adams left the game with a shoulder injury. It's sounding like it's a shoulder sprain, but it's never good news when a guy goes out with an injury and is seen on the sidelines in the second half in street clothes. Yeah. Never a good sign, right? And it sounds like it's the same injury or same shoulder that he had surgery on back in January. So hopefully Jamal is not going to miss any time or minimal time. I mean, Ryan Neal performed well in relief, but Jamal has been playing, in my opinion, really good football this year. He hasn't been I know that once called him Blitz Boy. I think he needs to drop that moniker. He's shown really well in pass coverage. He's played really good. I have no complaints about Jamal Adams this year. So, yeah, that's my Seahawks recap. Like I said, I am giddy, as Steve mentioned. I'm bouncing up and down on my couch here because anytime you can defeat your, in my opinion, number 1 division rival, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
You're just the worst. Like, I don't even know why I do this with you. Like, we were having such a good time there. I'm happy for you. We weren't taking shots at each other. Then you start off with my punter's the best in the NFL, and followed by, the
truth hurts. I get it.
Our division rivals. I mean, I feel like I've been pretty good this year when your team has been losing every week. And I've been like, hey, Chris, like, how's life? Are you okay? Can I give you a hug? What are the positives from the game? And you just choose violence. So,
hey, you know what? It wasn't a shot on you. It may have been I can see how you would think it was a backhanded shot. It was not. There was no arrows shot your direction, because I also hate the Steelers. But anyways, what happened in the Ravens game today, Steve?
Well, as you can, are you changing the ticker? I don't know if you have the ticker up. They lost. They lost by 1 point. We'll get to the crazy ending at the end of this.
We'll get
I feel
to
like
the end
I
at
say
the
this
end
every week. Two things I say every week, and I feel like a broken record. The Ravens start off super, super slow on offense. It's like they're just waking up each time they start the game. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they have to change, but usually your first couple offensive drives should be some of your best. They should be scripted. I mean, if you're going to get the kickoff, you already have a planned drive. I'm not sure what's happening that they're starting off so slow offensively. And the other one is that the Ravens want to give me a heart attack and kill me before I'm 35, which also stayed true. The first half, honestly, there was a lot of kind of plays on both teams. Like, no offense really kind of took the reins. There wasn't, a whole lot of wow drives. It was a lot of, just missed execution. Like, it was just ugly all around. And that goes for both teams. The Ravens did have a good opening drive. Starts looking promising. Lamar throws a boneheaded interception. He's kind of running on his back heels. And instead of just chucking it away, and I have a hard time saying this because when he makes those miraculous plays, everyone's jumping up and down and being like, "Oh, Lamar's making something out of nothing." But now we're starting to see those boneheaded plays go the other way, almost like how Mahomes was early in the year. So he throws an interception in the red zone. They don't get any points on that one. One positive I did have, this goes actually for the whole game, but it was very apparent off the start that Devante Freeman looks like old Devante Freeman. Remember him back in the Falcons days, Chris? Shifty, fast, aggressive, hits that one cut and goes. He looked so good early. He looked explosive right through the whole game. Obviously, he got the first touchdown in the first half. So that was good to see for him. Obviously, we've struggled at running back all season. It looks like he's kind of taken that number one job, and he deserves it. Honestly, he's been making the right blocks in protection. He's been running the ball effectively when his O-line is giving him something, and he's been making really good catches out of the backfield. And I'm really happy for Devonte Freeman. It's kind of like his resurgent year. There was a drive in the first half, the one that Devonte Freeman ended with a touchdown. The Pittsburgh Steelers punter has his punt go out on not even the half-yard line, but the 0.1 yard line. It was as far back as you could go without actually getting a touchback. So the Ravens have to essentially go 99 and a half yards to score. And everyone's like, well, don't see this happening. And they do it. So that was good. Obviously a huge turning point in the game. The Ravens looked like they kind of controlled it from there. But one of the things early that they were fighting was they were putting themselves in these 3rd and long situations where I think at one point I looked on the screen and the broadcast had it up there. Their average yards to go on 3rd down was 8.8 or something like that. That's not a recipe for success. That means you have to pass the ball. You're not going to hand it off at that point. If you can get it to 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, even 3rd and 4th, there's that element of a check down could get you a first down. Lamar could use his legs to get you that first down.
3rd and long. That is a page out of the 2021 Seattle Seahawks playbook. And I can tell you guys from experience, it's not a good play, guys. You don't want to run that play. The Seahawks, I didn't mention this. The Seahawks at one point today were at 2nd and 43. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was bad. So, but sorry to take over your Ravens segment here. Bobby Wagner intercepted Jimmy Garoppolo in 49ers territory. So you're like, okay, worst case scenario, Seahawks coming away with 3 points here, right? And then what happened? It was Russell fumbled the ball and it went backwards, a million yards, and they were lucky to recover it. And then there might have been a penalty, and it was just a comedy of errors. And then the Seahawks managed to get themselves in maybe a manageable field goal range. It was a 56-yard field goal, and they missed it. So I'm like, if that is not the definition of Seahawks offense this year, where it's hey guys, the defense set you up to get some points, and they somehow push themselves backwards into a 56-yard field goal and still don't get the points. I don't know what else says Seahawks football, but yeah.
Honestly, I don't think that's just Seahawks football though. I think that's something our teams are actually sharing in common, is this on offense, they're biting themselves in the foot to set themselves up for failure. I know in the broadcast at one point, the Ravens' first 4 penalties were all pre-snap penalties. So false starts, illegal shifts, those push you backwards and don't allow you to run your normal playbook. So set yourself up for success by getting good chunk yards on first down. I mean, the Steelers offense looks terrible. They honestly look horrible. There's no easy way around it. But when they started using Najee Harris to get themselves plus yards by, using his catching ability, they kind of set themselves up for those third and short situations that paid dividends. Now, there was one other play I wanted to highlight. I don't know. I asked you as maybe just a couple minutes ago to find this one. There was a play in basically the end of the second quarter. Ben throws up a ball on the sideline to Deontay Johnson, and it's kind of going over his head. And the Ravens safety Chuck Clark is going over there, and Deontay Johnson looks like he's going to jump for it, and then realizes yeah, that's probably too high for me, and lays off. But Chuck Clark does not lay off of him and lays the friggin' lumber to him, hits him. So it was a clean hit. On the real time, it looked like he crowned him. And then you rewatch it, and it is shoulder to shoulder. But the fact that there was no penalty on this play, I'll take it. But wow, was it a penalty? Do you have the clip?
I do.
He's going along for Deontay Johnson. Oh, he got hammered on the sideline.
Well, that's got to be a penalty, right? You can hear it up here.
There's no flag.
Wow.
That was Chuck Clark who decked him, flattened him.
You could hear it. Way up here, you could hear it clear as day. Oh, maybe it was. You looked clean right there, didn't it, Jim? Ooh, that's really close. Ooh, wow, that's such a wicked hit right there.
Oh, man, hearing those shoulder pads, playing together is my God. But no, that's not a flag. There's nothing wrong with that hit.
So think about it this way. I could have seen it going either way. Now, I think they didn't throw it because, Chuck Clark's just coming towards there. He expects, a really good receiver in Deontay Johnson to come down and make this circus catch. And all he's trying to do is pop that ball out, run through his defender. The bad part is he doesn't look at the football. The football goes way over his head and he unleashes on him. So I know it's one of those bang, bang plays. I think they were saying in the broadcast it could have been unnecessary roughness. By letter of the law, it probably was. I love he decleats Deontay Johnson so badly. And that's what this rivalry is about. Hard smash mouth football. So that one was fun to watch. Not so fun.
That hit reminds me so much of the Cam Chancellor on Vernon Davis hit from, I want to say 2013, 2014, something like that. When Cam just do you remember that one?
I feel like I will if I see it.
So, and that's part of the reason why I say no, that's not a penalty, man. It's because I remember how pissed I was when Cam blew up Vernon Davis and being that's not a penalty. It's shoulder to his chest. There's nothing wrong with that hit. And same with Chuck Clark. It sounds nasty for sure. And maybe but that's about it. It sounds a lot worse than I think it actually was, right? It looked like the player was going up to make a play for the ball, and the DB was okay, well, I'm making a play too. The popular thing on Twitter yesterday was that quarterback for Pitt who made the fake slide, and everyone's oh, that's BS, and that's the defender was letting up, that's stupid and whatever, right? So it's just Chuck Clark was well, I'm not letting up here, I'm going to hit this guy. So here's the Chancellor hit on Vernon Davis.
That's a nasty hit. There was obviously no audio on that, but that was.
There's no audio. Yeah. like the only other video I could find was like a fan video. So like all you can hear is the fans yelling, which is not as good as like TV broadcast audio, but it's still same thing. Like I said, the Cam got flagged, I think, for like defenseless receiver or something like that, because they thought the refs thought Cam hit him in the head, but it was shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. Okay, just a couple more things I want to get to here. I obviously can't end my Ravens thing here without talking about the final play. The Ravens come back. Nothing about their offensive game today told me they could even come back in this game to make this happen. So first of all, the fact that they drove it down the field and got the touchdown is so awesome. Now, as soon as they score, if you were watching it, as soon as they score, John Harbaugh puts 2 fingers up for 2 points. They're going for 2 points right from the start. It was not like this was a predetermined thing, being like, if we get this, we're going to end this game. We're not going to another overtime here. And what I posted on Twitter was, before they did it, I was like, this is gutsy, and I love it. Like, what Harbaugh has done since getting Lamar Jackson is he's looked at, analytics a lot more. When do you go for it? What's the probability? Obviously, it's a high probability that you get this point. And what I said was, if you like it when they go for those plays, I mean, there was the one play, the last football game I went to on my honeymoon when they were in Seattle, and hey, we're taking shots right here.
I thought we were friends.
There was a 4th down, and this is where the whole like, hell yeah, coach, I want to go for it started. He was like, it's 4th down, but give me the ball. I want to go for it. They convert that into a touchdown, and all of a sudden people are like, yeah, John Harbaugh, I love how he goes for it. Give Lamar the ball. So I loved the call. I loved the play call. The play call was there. The play opened up. It was just, a slight misexecution on Lamar's part, and it was a slight misexecution on Mark Andrews' part. It almost worked. It bounced off of his hands. Like, it almost worked. And the one thing that I saw on Twitter, this kind of like summed it all up. If you think it's cool when John Harbaugh puts the ball in Lamar Jackson's hands for the win and it works, you don't get to be mad at John Harbaugh putting the ball in Lamar Jackson's hands for the win and it doesn't work. Like, he's not going to get these 100% of the time. And they've played so many overtime games. What I'm going to get at next, there was probably a little bit of, he knew about the injury to Marlon Humphrey, and he was like, we're not going to overtime in this game. Like, we're already thin at cornerback. So I loved it. Do you have the clip of this one? So just before you show it, our buddy Marquise from Cover 4 with the Guys said, I just wish that they didn't go to TJ Watt's side. To which I understand that. I actually put the question into Sarah Ellison, who joined us, and her and Kadri Ishmael do a sort of post-Ravens recap. So people that are much smarter than I am in the football world, I posed that question to them. Would you have flipped the play to avoid TJ Watt's side? And both of them responded with, absolutely not. It's Lamar Jackson. He was a unanimous MVP for a reason. He can make those plays, and he almost did. So when you watch the play, Lamar's throw is just a little outside, right? You probably want to flatten that a little bit. So it's a little bit outside. And some people were like, Lamar, you got to make that throw. But there was also a little something on Mark Andrews. He's running to the corner, and he kind of like mistimes his shuffle. He doesn't keep sprinting, and like the ball misses in execution by maybe even an inch inside. Or if Mark Andrews was running a split second faster. He gets enough of his hand on that ball to get it and bring it in. That's how close execution is in the NFL. So let's see that clip now.
One play. Jackson flings it. Andrews can't get to it. Could not reel it in. Incomplete. Unbelievable. It was a great play call. Andrews is open. Lamar, though, has the great TJ Watt in his face. It's not an easy throw. The ball just has to be flicked with a little bit of height. Oh, and it's 1 inch from Baltimore.
Like I said, that I don't think we understand as casual fans how razor thin the margin for success and failure is in the NFL. Like, yeah, TJ Watt is like bowling down in on him, but this play design, and I don't know this for sure because I'm not in Greg Roman's ear. I feel like this play design is all about what you would do in a screen. You know they're coming at you. You're like, fine, come at us. We'll get the ball out quickly around you. He makes that quick little side shuffle, gets the ball through TJ Watt. Like I said, just a little bit outside, like by the smallest amount. And Mark Andrews, 1 split second faster or keeps running his route towards that corner. And I'm talking about a 21-20 win for the Ravens instead of a 20-19 loss.
Or like Tony Romo says there, if Lamar had got just a little more height on that ball, right? Then maybe it's different.
Like small razor thin difference, right? If he gets too much height on that ball, that other DB that's coming in from behind has a chance to pick it the other way. Like that's how close the razor thin margin for success and failure is in the NFL.
But that's what happens when you're playing division rivals, right? Is like those things, because you guys know each other so well. So it's like those little razor thin margins become that much smaller.
Totally. You start to understand each other's tendencies and how they look in their delivery and stuff like that. So I completely agree. Obviously, I'll hit on the news that Ian Rappaport reported. I always feel weird saying that. After the game, Ravens star cornerback Marlon Humphrey is expected to be out for the season with shoulder injury per sources. A significant blow to Baltimore's defense. Another one. And then a guy I follow on Twitter, Baltimore Beatdown podcast, Jake Luke, he said, I've legitimately never seen anything like this injury-wise, and I was there for 2014. And then someone else also commented, I think 2009 was also bad, but this was so much worse. I don't know how they come back from this on the defensive end. They lost Marcus Peters. They lose Marlowe. Jimmy Smith is always banged up, it seems. It's gonna be a tough road. But that's the story of this season. So keep battling, keep fighting. You always have a chance when Lamar Jackson is healthy. And I fully expect him to come back in his best MVP form. Still got to make playoffs. So enough of that. I've had enough of football talk. Football's stupid. Just kidding. I love football. Even when my team loses, it's exciting. It's frustrating. It's sad. It's exciting. You don't know the good without the bad. So sometimes you got to lose. But this brings us into everybody's favorite time of the year, favorite time of the week, favorite time of our episode. It is the Third Down segment brought to you by Bad Tattoo Brewing in Kelowna. What do you have for me today?
I'm just showing you all the different ways that you can hold up your fingers to make the number 3, which I was doing that with my son the other day. He goes, Daddy, I do 3 like this, which is like, I think like his thumb and his index finger down. And he goes, Daddy, how do you do 3? And I hold up my 3 like middle fingers, I guess, like my index, my middle, and my ring finger. And so then I show him a different way. And then I go, and buddy, you can also do 3 like this, which is like the middle finger and the ring finger down, thumb, index, and pinky up. And he goes, Dad, that's what Spider-Man does. And then he starts going and starts doing like Spider-Man motions and noises and all those things. So
That's so funny.
yeah, man, like 4-year-olds, the things they say, like it's like I don't know if I told you this one, but to quickly add in another fun story with my son, he got himself dressed last week, like head to toe, like socks, underwear, pants, shirt, did the whole thing himself. No help from mom and dad. I'm like, buddy, great job. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you don't even need mom or dad anymore. Hey, and he kind of smirks as I'm like about to brush his teeth, right? Like, still needs mom to brush his teeth, mom and dad to brush his teeth. And I go, hey, buddy, should you just like get rid of mom and dad? He goes, no, you still wipe my butt.
Smart kid.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You've got about 8 months to figure that out, or I don't know, 10 months actually. You have about 10 months to figure that out before you go to kindergarten, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyways, third down segment, once again presented by Bad Tattoo Brewing, which, as mentioned previously, guys, I did get my Bad Tattoo Brewing Advent Calendar, which if you aren't following us on Instagram, go give us a follow at ballhawks_pod. So same handle as our Twitter account, as I have been posting every day what my beer of the day has been. Today, from Bad Tattoo Brewing, I have from their sister company, actually, from Counterflow Brewing, the Sweet and Sour Cherry Ghost, which Steve knows, I don't love a sour beer. This is, we're on day 5 of the Advent Calendar, and this is number 3 for the sour beers. And I have to say, Bad Tattoo absolutely knocks it out of the park when it comes to their sour beers. They're not that, I've mentioned this before. It's not like sucking on a lemon. They don't punch you in the face with how sour it is. And maybe it's, again, because they use actual real ingredients and not extracts and syrups and all that crap. It's actually, this is a cherry ghost. They actually use probably real cherries to make this beer, not cherry extract or cherry syrup to make this beer. So it is exactly what you expect it to be. It's it's going to be super well balanced. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm going to crack it open right now. I'm going to tell you how it tastes. Let's find out. How does it taste?
Beer flavoring right now. Now, I had this one when we met down there with Ryan. Mm-hmm. Very tasty.
Like, again, for a sour beer, that is so well balanced. I get a little bit of that like tang on the tongue where it's like, oh yeah, okay, this is a sour beer. But I don't take a sip and be like, nope, dumping this one down the drain like I have every other sour beer in my life. So, guys, go sign up for the Bad Tattoo Beer Club at badtattoobrewing.com. The Advent calendars, I'm sure, are sold out by this point. And if they're not, hey, go jump on one and get it delivered right to your doorstep and play catch up, because it's been a lot of fun so far for me. And there is a little special extra in there for me for December 25th. I don't know what it is yet. I'll find out on Christmas Day, and I'm really excited for that, to see what is inside of that special envelope with the number 25 sticker on it. So yeah, guys, like I said, I mean, and hey, if Advent calendar is not your thing, or if you want to go order the oat milk stout that we were talking about last week, or if you want to go order some of their staple beers, like their Cerveza Clara or their Los Muertos Cerveza Negra, or any of their other staple beers, go to badtattoobrewing.com, sign up for the Bad Tattoo Beer Club, and get a case of this stuff delivered right to your doorstep all across Canada. As mentioned before, from Bona Vista to Victoria, they're delivering it right to you guys.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I love how it has the number 5 on the bottom too. Like every time you drink it for the camera, like, oh, it is. You didn't cheat. This actually is.
I know.
I do have to say, like, I have talked about this. I have never had an Advent calendar before, or a beer Advent calendar, and I was like, this is the year I'm going to do it. Obviously, turns out when you have to move within, what are we down to, like 2 weeks basically. You forget about other things in life. I have not forgot about finding Bad Tattoo beer. Still my favorite of the season. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but I literally cannot get enough of this stuff. Guys, you will be kicking yourself if you did not get an advent calendar. Like Chris said, maybe they still have some. Maybe you're going to get lucky and kind of come across one, but hopefully you got yours in, because I for sure am kicking myself every time Chris posts those on our Instagram, and I have to see what I'm missing out on. So
sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. We have some third down.
For the third down this week, it is the month of December. We are 20 days away from Christmas Eve. Can you believe it? 3 weeks yesterday, and it's going to be Christmas Day already. I don't know where 2021 has gone. You probably don't know where 2021 has gone either. It is flown by. And we are approaching Christmas again. We got a little bit of snow this weekend in Kelowna, which has been wonderful. There's nothing worse than a green Christmas. It's supposed to snow again tomorrow, and I say bring it on. Bring on all the snow. I want like 10 centimeters by Christmas Day. Please. It would be great. Anyways.
You want 10 centimeters on Christmas Day? Set yourself up for that one, bud.
Can we go back, edit that out, scratch that, reverse it? I'm going to give 10.
I want to do a do-over there, okay?
Yeah, do-over. I want 10 inches of the white stuff on Christmas Day. Crap, I did it again.
Stop looking for wow.
Anyways, with the month of December, I figured it is time to talk about Christmas. It is time to talk about one of the things that I've been posting about it almost every day in the month of December on my Twitter account. Everyone loves to do this in the month of December, and that is watch Christmas movies. So for the third down today, presented by Bad Tattoo Brewing, I have the battle of the Christmas movies with a slight caveat, as it's going to be the live action Christmas movies. So no cartoons today, just the live action movies. Don't give me a thumbs down. You're not going to be disappointed. There should be no Die Hard on this list. I can guarantee you that.
That's not good, because Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie.
Not a Christmas movie, people. As I've been saying, if I can watch that movie in July, it's not a Christmas movie. I don't watch Home Alone in July. I don't watch Elf in July.
Ooh, I do.
I can watch Die Hard. Well, Steve, you're ruining my argument. God damn it. I thought we were friends.
It was a bad argument. What can I say? Just say it's not a Christmas movie, and people who think it is a Christmas movie are wrong. That's all you have to say.
It's not a Christmas movie, and
there
I stand by that. All right.
Move on.
Anyways, third down, presented by Bad Tattoo Kelowna, the live action Christmas movie battle. Steve, are you ready?
I love the little frosty there. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Like that, yeah. Okay, so in our first matchup here, we have the Tim Allen showdown. So we have the Santa Claus versus Christmas with the Cranks.
Ooh.
And I know we've talked about this one in the past.
I know. Starting off tough here. I actually hadn't watched I don't know when Christmas with the Cranks came out. Maybe you can look that up for me while I'm rambling here. But the first time I watched it was maybe only 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know if that makes sense with the timeline of it, if it's fairly new. I know Tim Allen was...
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. It came out in 2004.
Oh, okay. So I was way late on it. That's fine.
So was I. I had no idea it came out that. Yeah. Wow.
2004. Okay. So I was in grade 11.
I was graduating high school.
I think it's really funny. I was a huge Home Improvement fan, so Tim Allen's humor has kind of resonated with me. I like it. I really liked Christmas with the Cranks. Had some, of those classic moments. Santa Claus, I would not have really picked it. I don't know if it would have been like really my humor in Christmas movies. But we just started watching this one with the kids. This is like one of their first kind of like live Christmas movies that we've done with them. And watching my son laugh when Tim Allen it grows the beard back within seconds and like panics. Like we were this was now 2 weekends ago. We were all so like dead tired from hunting. We're just kind of having like a fun family movie night on Saturday night, and we're like almost half asleep, including him. He's basically like comatose as well. And when Tim Allen grows the facial hair back immediately after shaving, he starts dying laughing, and it like kind of perks us all up. We're like, what is going on right now? And every time he sees that part, he breaks out into this like just pure like child baby belly laugh. And it's so funny. And I'm picking Santa Claus for this one because I've really enjoyed the movie time with my kids when they enjoy a Christmas movie and they find a lot of humor in it. So that's going to be my pick. And I didn't think I was going to pick that, actually.
I love both these movies, actually. We actually just watched Christmas with the Cranks. Did we watch that last night or Friday night? Anyways, my wife and I, we just watched that recently. And there's a small part during the show where Tim Allen's talking about Dan Aykroyd. Like right as like they introduced Dan Aykroyd into the movie or whatever, and they're like, oh no, like it's Frohmeyer, and like once he finds out we're boycotting Christmas and blah blah blah, and Tim Allen goes like, well, who's he gonna call? And I started laughing so hard. And I look at Nadine, I'm like, did you not catch that joke? She's like, no, what? I had to rewind it to like replay it for her, and she's like, okay. I'm like, come on, who's he gonna call? Like that's a Ghostbusters joke. And I love those. Tim Allen does a lot with like a lot of his shows. There's a lot of there's a lot of home improvement comedy in the Santa Claus. There's a lot of I don't know if you ever watched Last Man Standing, but there was a lot of home improvement comedy in that show as well. And like even in Toy Story you get it also, right? So I always love like those small jokes. But man, the Santa Claus, like that is an absolute classic. You can watch it as an adult and enjoy it. You can watch it with your family and enjoy it. So I don't think there was a bad choice there.
Yes, for one, let's go.
Next matchup, we have National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation versus Bad Santa. So maybe call this the Battle of the Vulgar Christmas movies.
Yeah. I feel like everybody has watched National Lampoon. It has those classic parts in it. I would say this one is on the Mount Rushmore of most people's Christmas movies. Not mine. I will pick Bad Santa over National Lampoon every single time. There's just something so funny about a Santa Claus who's just so absolutely vulgar. I mean, I'm not going to say it on live air, but one of my favorite parts of that movie is he's eating his salad in the mall. And I can only relate to that being a mall employee for over a decade of my life. And the little kid and the mom come up to him and it's like, hey, it's Santa. And he's like, oh, swearing under his breath. And then they don't pick up on his social cues that he doesn't want to talk with them. And he's like, I'm on my lunch break, okay? And like falling out of his face. And she's like, are you insane? He's like, if you think you can make my life anything worse, go for it. Be my guest. And I was just like, that part gets me every time. And I just, oh my goodness, Thurman Merman, the character, is so funny. Like, oh, that poor little kid just living in oblivious land. I pick Bad Santa for the win. And I know that's going to be an unpopular pick, but I have to pick it.
Yeah, you know that's what the third down is all about is giving you the tough matchups and having you make a choice. I mean, immediately I want to say like, oh, that's a bad choice, but like if I was put in your shoes, I don't know how easy. Like, I love Bad Santa, and I love Christmas Vacation, so like I don't know how I would choose one over the other. And like you said, one is a Mount Rushmore, and like, or for most people is a Mount Rushmore, but like maybe as I get older, Christmas Vacation like resonates more and more. It's just like
Fair.
Christmas with the family and Christmas with the in-laws, and like so there's that aspect of it that like I do kind of relate to and find really funny. And I mean, of course, there is the classic, you know, Merry Christmas, the shitter's full, and what have you, right? So anyways, next matchup, we have the Macaulay Culkin matchup. You have to pick which Home Alone is better, 1 or 2. Home Alone 1 versus Home Alone 2. And may I remind you that Home Alone 2 is actually the movie that gave us the classic line, "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal." But it also had Donald Trump in it. So like, unreal. Bravo.
Let's
for
go.
anyone that is listening in to our show in its podcast format, Steve just lifted up his shirt so I could read it, and he is wearing a shirt that said "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal."
Yep.
That was not planned, folks.
That was not planned at all.
That was genuine.
Some might just say, "I got a feeling."
We've been doing this too long. Obviously, that we are at the point that we are reading each other's minds, and you knew what I was bringing tonight, and you rocked the Home Alone shirt, which, hey, again, no disrespect. That is mint. But anyways,
got this for Christmas a few years ago from my loving wife.
I have a shirt from my loving wife that has the quote that I just repeated from Christmas Vacation.
Nice.
It's a jammy shirt. I don't wear that one in public.
Yeah, I thought about wearing this one like in public, and I'm like, I don't know if I should.
You should wear that one to school.
Yeah,
like right before Christmas break.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd. Yeah, either way, I don't think it's too bad, right? Like,
it's not at all.
This is a tough choice for me. I love both of these. Clearly, I love the Home Alones. I have a shirt for it. I don't think you can beat the original on this. I think the original. I don't know why it's better. Maybe call it more classic lines like, "Look what you did, you little jerk." Me and my brother use that. We use that line year round, all the time to each other. Like,
okay, but in the second one, you get out of here, you little pervert.
Yeah, I don't know if it's as good as "you little jerk."
Totally. "Look what you did, you little jerk" is a classic line, but like, there's no talk boy in the first one.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough choice. I just think the original in this one, it set the whole franchise up. It had to be good to get a second one. I think I've watched the first one many more times than the second one, and that's usually how I break the tie. Is I think back to like, well, which one have I seen more? And can we just pause for a second? And I know this is a question surfaces every Christmas season. What did the McAllisters do for a living that they could afford a castle of a house and travel first class to Europe?
Okay, so I have a theory.
Okay.
Have you watched The Sopranos?
No.
Okay. So Kevin McAllister's dad, whoever the actor is that plays Kevin McAllister's dad, he is a cop in The Sopranos, but he's like an inside man for the family.
Okay.
For Tony Soprano. So here's my theory: is that long game the two intertwine, and Peter McAllister is actually like still that same cop in The Sopranos, and he's getting that, Italian mafia like drug money, and that is what is funding the McAllister lifestyle.
Now, which one came first?
Home Alone.
Oh, so it literally couldn't have been that.
No.
Okay, good theory.
Super far-fetched theory. Yeah, I know.
I mean, it makes more sense than you're like, okay, why do they drive this station wagon, but they have a castle for a house?
Yeah, but it's the brother that paid for the vacation, right? The brother that's already in Paris that we never actually meet.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. But then I think
in this show.
But I think in Home Alone 2, Peter McAllister is the one that pays for the vacation for everybody. So, and again, did you see that the McAllister house is actually on Airbnb? You can Airbnb
really?
it. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, well, because they just released the new one, like Home Sweet Home Alone, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And so you can like Airbnb it with Buzz.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Next, I know what I'm doing.
I sent it to Nadine. I'm like, hey, this is what I want for Christmas.
Yeah, I want to go there for Christmas and leave our kids. No, I don't want to do that, actually. Sorry.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
Right? Another just classic line.
Again, there wasn't a wrong choice in that one. They're both classics. I was saying to Nadine when we watched Home Alone the other day, I'm like, isn't it so funny to like watch this movie and think that like, out of the two Culkin brothers that are in this one, that Kieran Culkin is the one that actually became more famous?
Yeah.
Because Kieran Culkin is Fuller.
Yeah.
Which, hey, if he has anything to drink, he's going to wet the bed. Careful.
I love his like little look too. He's just like drinking his pop. He's like,
yeah, I am. I'm going to piss that bed all over the place.
Do it right on your back.
I made my family disappear. So, last matchup, we have A Christmas Story. So don't shoot your eye out if you choose that one. Versus what I watched tonight, actually, Elf.
This one's an easy one for me. I think Christmas movie sucks. I don't get it a lot. Why did they buy this kid, a BB gun and not teach him how to use it? Of course he's going to shoot his eye out. Like, are you out of your minds?
Yeah, shoot your eye out.
Elf is next level Christmas movie fun. What makes Elf so good is, as an adult, you can watch it and just love it, but you can also sit down with your kids and they love it for probably totally different reasons than you do. I love the part where he's just like, Santa, like screaming and jumping. Another good liner, like, call me an elf one more time.
Oh man,
but you are an elf.
Yeah. So I watched that. That was our family movie night tonight. Was Elf, and during the mall Santa scene, Olivia goes, "That's a fake Santa," and we're like, "Olivia, stop!" Because like some kid at school told Olivia that Santa's fake, and obviously he's not. So it's we're having to remind her that Santa is very real, and we believe in Santa. So, anyways, during that scene where Will Ferrell rips off Santa's beard, Olivia's like covering her eyes and not watching. It's like, oh god, this is violent. Like, I'm not watching this. And then during the angry elf scene, both my kids are like, "That's a kid. That's a kid." I'm like, like trying to explain to my
no, it's not.
My 7-year-old and my 4-year-old, like, no, that's a grown up. They're like, but no, he's little. That's a kid. I'm like, yeah, that's a little person. Like, I'm like, I know you guys aren't going to understand this, so let's just move on. But watching Elf with the kids tonight was quite interesting. Fun fact, that movie makes me cry every time. Every time at the end of the movie when they're singing Santa Claus is coming to town, and as right as Buddy's dad starts singing and Santa's sleigh takes off and flies over top of everyone. Everyone's so amazed. It makes me tear up every goddamn time. No matter how many times I've seen that movie, I cannot help it.
Hits you right in the feels.
Right in the feelings.
It wasn't even a close one.
No.
Elf, in case you didn't know my real answer there. It's Elf.
A Christmas Story is fun. I enjoyed A Christmas Story a lot more as a kid for some reason than I do it as an adult. And maybe it just resonated more with me as a kid than it does it as an adult. Yeah. Maybe I was that kid that wanted that, what was it? It
was a BB gun.
I was going to say Red Rifle, but that's Andy Dalton. But yeah, maybe I was that kid that wanted that BB gun. Quick shout out here before I get to your recap. 8-Bit Christmas it's on Crave for us up here in Canada. It's on HBO Max for our American friends. That is our generation's A Christmas Story. It's Neil Patrick Harris retelling the tale of when he was a child to his daughter about wanting to get a NES, so a Nintendo Entertainment System. So hence the 8-bit. Quick recap here. We have The Santa Claus, Bad Santa, Home Alone, and Elf. Who's your MVP?
Man, this is actually the toughest MVP I've done in. I don't even know when we started the Third Down episode. At least 35 of them, I'm guessing.
I'm just impressed you've seen all these movies.
I know, right? I finally watched them all. Oh man. Part of me wants to go Santa Claus because of how much I'm enjoying it, like as a dad. Part of me wants to be Bad Santa because it's like the exact opposite of what a Christmas movie for like kids should be, but that's what makes it so great. Part of me wants to go Elf because I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan, and it's just another reason why I love him as an actor. But I absolutely have to go with Home Alone. It is the one Christmas movie that I watch year round, but I also have to watch it every single holiday season, at least 5 or 6 times, 1 and 2. So I get into watching those over and over, and I'm repping the shirt. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, for the win.
Yeah, you kind of showed your cards there on that one. I would say
it was close though. It was close. Part of me wanted to go all 4 ways there. Like I wanted to pick each of those.
They're all good choices. My final 2 between your choices, anyways, would come down probably the Santa Claus or Home Alone. And I would actually lean more the Santa Claus because, like you said,
really?
Being a dad now and watching that with my kids, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't watched it yet this year, but I'm not giving you the first down because you didn't choose Christmas Vacation. So you lose yet again, Steve.
But I would have had to take one of... Stupid. I picked what your favorites would have been.
My Christmas is ruined.
Yeah, Christmas is ruined because of
Ruined?
You little jerk.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
So good. I might even watch that as I fall asleep tonight.
There you go.
Okay, this has been a fun episode, Chris. We're almost at the hour 40 marker, so I'm about to go to bed. But before I do that, I will leave you with the last words of the episode.
Yeah, guys, thank you again to everyone for tuning in live. Thank you for everyone who is listening to our show in its podcast format. You can, of course, find us at Ballhawks podcast wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, whatever it may be. Please leave a rating and review. It's been a while since we've gotten a review, and we do love reading those. It makes our day a little bit brighter, as long as they're positive and it's not Steve's students leaving a nasty review for us or something like that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are, of course, a part of the Dean Blundell Network. You can find us over on Twitter at PhillipsChris12. Find Steve at SSFisher87. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at ballhawks_pod. And as always, guys, go Hawks.
Peace.